Do y'all remember when there was a conversation about concert etiquette and parasocial relationships, and people were saying that it is weird for you to bark at musicians in the middle of their playlist or to yell mommy at some musician that you don't know, and that it's also really unhealthy to go looking for their phone number online so that you can call them over and over again? Frankly, I think we need to bring that conversation back and frame it to be about art show rejections. In the past 8 years, I have been a part of about 15 different art shows, but I guarantee you I have been rejected from at least twice as many that. Facing rejection is a huge part of being an exhibiting artist. So far this year, I have applied to 2 different shows that I've heard back from, and I got rejected from both of those. I'm going to share a few things that I think are going to help you feel better if you've been rejected from a show recently or if you're new to art shows. But before we do that, I think we need to just put it all out there and say what things are just not okay for people to be doing when they are rejected from a show. First off, it is incredibly normal and in line with industry standard to never hear back if you did not get accepted into a show. The curator, the jurors, whoever is picking the pieces, they are not obligated to contact you and tell you you didn't get into a show or why you didn't get into a show. A lot of different galleries and exhibiting spaces will only contact people who made it into the show because there's usually a ton of people applying. So for a lot of shows that I have applied to, they flat out state, if you do not hear back from us by this date, that means you didn't make it into the show. It is completely inappropriate and unprofessional to try and contact that curator or juror outside of business hours or multiple times in a row. Multiple voicemails, multiple texts, multiple DMs to their private personal accounts. Completely inappropriate, completely unprofessional. Plus, word gets around. Gallerist talk to other gallerist. Jurors talk to other jurors, curators talk to other curators. If you are acting insane and obsessive and stalkerish, other people are going to know that in the industry. That will not help you get into other shows. Being rejected from a show, even though it might feel very personal because of the art that you make, is not personal. They are not straight up saying that your art is bad or that they didn't get it or that you should have never applied. More than likely, there were just a lot of other submissions and some of them were a little bit better than yours. Or they just fit the prompt a little better. Or, hear me out here, your stuff was great, spectacular, but you didn't follow instructions, so they couldn't enter your stuff in the show anyways. And because it's not meant to be personal whenever they're juroring your stuff in or not, you shouldn't get so hurt and upset about it that when you get rejected or denied from being in the show, that you start hurling insults at people, saying that the curator was so rude, when all they did was not accept your piece into the show. Now that we've moved past some things that you should not do if you don't get into a show, I want to give you something to think about for the next time that happens, just to keep in the back of your mind of how this works. Most calls for art that I have seen have anywhere from hundreds to thousands of art submissions every single time they have an open call. That is not referring to individual pieces submitted, that's referring to number of people that have submitted. Most of the time, they let you submit multiple pieces in one application, anywhere from 3 on the low end to 8 on the high end. The shows that I have seen host 30 to 50 pieces. So if there are 1,000 people who enter this one call for art, everybody enters the max amount of pieces, which we are going to say is 5 pieces. That means there are 5,000 paintings or drawings or sculptures that have to be weeded through to pick just the best ones. And if they have room for 50 pieces in the actual show, that means there are going to be 4,950 pieces rejected from the show. Those 950 people that did not get accepted into the show, I guarantee you, the large majority of them don't make bad art. They probably make pretty good art. But there were 999 other people besides that one person who submitted who were also going for the same thing. That is a lot of competition. And when you are someone who is really good at art, you could honestly get into the top percentage of people that they want in the show, but because they have 70 people they want in the show and only 50 spots, it comes down to the most finite little thing that could get you put out of the show. For example, they could have size limitations and your painting is 1 inch too large. Or your photograph of your painting was slightly blurry, and some of these other ones we can see the details a little bit better, so we have to go with those because we can tell what they are. Or you submitted a piece that was the most beautiful, surreal portrait ever seen before to anybody, but you submitted it to a Western themed show and it didn't fit the prompt. So the next time you get rejected from an art show that you were really excited for, consider that competition is probably really tight for these shows, and it could come down to the smallest little things such as photography or file names, or that your prompt just didn't quite fit the theme of the show. Rejection is never fun, but it's part of the business. So the best thing that you can do is review your own work, see where you might have gone wrong, and move forward from it.